Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. I'm Lamar Haven. Welcome back to Bastion. So, we've got a stock pot to check out.
He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head.
Next stop, who knows where.
I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this.
Looks like we're going to be talking about Zia a bit.
What's he thinking? Let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once.
Keep him at bay. Ah, come on.
Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Celandia.
Okay, power shot was good, but everything else was terrible. I gotta be quick with these guys. Last thing you want is them being awake long enough to shoot something at you. There we go.
Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals.
Interesting. Go away, birds. Unfortunately, you have to kind of turtle up against those.
Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out.
Can't imagine that'd be terribly effective. I seem to be stuck in a situation where I can't do much about this. Oh well, I'll let it act as a shield for me. Slow and steady, folks. Slow and steady. Double crits, though.
The mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father.
Well, at least she had her father, right? I mean, he was there to help her. These things are gonna fill up the entire area if I'm not quick enough. Well, you can get a good rhythm with those guys, thankfully. I should have upgraded this carbine a bit before coming here, in retrospect, but now I'll have the shards to do so.
Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him.
Oh, so she was rather alone then, wasn't she? Oh dear, hello. Well, that took care of that. This guy always gets me. I'm always a tiny bit too greedy. Got him, though. Alright, far enough away. And take these out one by one, and everything's gonna be hunky-dory.
Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the mancers. It's for your own good, he said.
Huh. How could it possibly be for her own good? To know nothing about where she came from, or even her own father's work? Wonder what the Mancers were up to.
She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs.
A useful skill. Well, to have, at least. This is gonna hurt. Too many birds. Distraction, but it's not a very good one. This thing is just barely long enough to really be able to snatch them as they're running away. And this carbine, though, is gonna get me killed. Got it.
At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city.
Oh no. I wonder if that ended up being, that rumor ended up being true, or if it was just machinations of cruel children. I'm in a bad situation here. They're gonna keep triggering its defense. Yep. Interesting. How these enemies interact with each other. But that can be manipulated. Using them as cover. Ow. I mean, it heals up. Oh, that's even bigger move. That's right. That's one of the idols I have, isn't it? Enemies regenerate health.
One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him.
Uh-oh. Led her to believe is a very bad sign. Why, hello there, Ankle Gator? You're easy enough to deal with, in theory. Notice that the decoy itself also deals damage to them. Come on. You're not even close to death yet. You can tell by how fast you're moving. Oh, well, see? Ugh, I'm doing awful now. Not fast enough. Gotcha! Alright, that's the last of the extra black tonics, so I need to start saving them up. Come on! Ah, too greedy.
The young man convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals.
Sounds harmless enough, but I'm guessing there's more to the story. Ugh. Come on, you. Gotta keep pressure on the plant, otherwise it'll just regenerate everything.
When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out.
Wonder what he said that made her father so mad, or if it was simply the act of speaking the language. By the way, if you want a full...
The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult.
If you want the full version of this song without my wonderful commentary over it, I highly...
Lost my train of thought there.
I lost mine. I highly recommend looking it up. It's on YouTube. You can get it. I think the Bastion soundtrack is available on Steam, though I'm not 100% on that. Anyway, highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is referred to as Zia's theme. It's got another name, but I know Zia's theme is like one of the names of the song.
It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals.
Whoa.
hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag. Then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal.
Disgusting. Probably effective. I mean, who really wants to inspect a gas bag's intestines, right?
Someday those tears are gonna.
So, when you really think about this song, as sweet as it sounds, it's actually so much about pain and suffering and the war between Caelondia and the Ura. People in Caelondia built a wall, the Ura dig their holes, and they plan on getting rid of that wall.
Well, I digress.
And unfortunately, I'm not good enough. Let's head back to the Bastion, and we'll worry about doing that later. My pike and my rifle aren't exactly upgraded right now, and these are weapons that I want to use. So, I'm in the unfortunate situation of not being strong enough to beat them. Alright. Hunting grip for critical damage. Tostex cause knockback. Let's go ahead and get the hunting grip.
Don't want that thing leaving your hands until you decide it's time.
And I have 2 something fancies, so I need to get my hands on a lot more shards. In the meantime, let's switch to a different ranged weapon, shall we? I'm actually rather partial to the dueling pistols right now. But now that I think about
He's
it...
a spitting image of Slinger Jawson with that pike and them pistols.
Now that I think about it, it hasn't been upgraded for quite some time, so let's go with the scrap musket. And scrap salvo. Alright, time to head out. Alright, well actually, we do have Trigger Hill. Proving ground. The Caelondian army elites visited this place for training and competition.
That's Trigger Hill, where the army's elite became the finest marksmen in the land.
Now I think about it, this is probably the best place to go next. Hold the attack button to raise the actual army carbine, or tap to shoot from the hip.
Caelondia's army only took the best, and the best of them trained on Trigger Hill. The Triggers believed they were nothing without their rifles. Nothing beats the feel of shooting a Caelondian army carbine. Sometimes you had to take care to steady your shot.
Whew. Completed the triggers, and that distracted me enough to not
Triggers
realize...
had clearance to modify their guns however they chose.
That distracted me enough to not
Some
realize
felt
where the target
course
was.
too easy, so the Triggers spiced things up a bit.
I can't shield or anything.
The kid ain't bad, but the Triggers were better.
Second place. The Triggers show surpassing skill with the army carbine. Defeat a foe with a single power shot from an extreme range. And finishing under 35 seconds. That's something I think I can pull off. So I'll be back, and if I manage it, you'll see it and fast forward.
If you want to master the art of the firearm, then the place to go is Trigger Hill.
Sometimes you had to shoot from the hip. We had to keep moving to avoid getting burned. He flowed through that course like it was nothing.
Only took one more try. Like I said, love this weapon. Trigger Blitz. That's our reward. Let's head back. Use certain items in the Bastion to visit an unusual place to practice and learn.
The Caelondian army would have recruited him in a flash.
Alright. I think we're set up for the next area. So, Culford Cauldron. Shard detected. Here it simmers in the unstable area, which once pierced to the heart of the world.
No risk of Culford Cauldron ever erupting again, they used to say. Guess they were wrong.
Wallflowers are vulnerable to high damage armor-piercing weapons.
Not everything blew up in the Calamity. Why, Colford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock.
Volcanoes are always
If you wanted
dangerous.
to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt.
This is gonna be a bit of a problem. I want to get rid of that thing, and my pike's the only thing with enough distance to manage it. But that thing also is healing because I've made a bad choice on idols. Ah, those explosions should help. I really want it dead. It's not really a good idea since I don't need to go. Nah, it's too far away for that to work. And only the power shots are really... Oh, it's gone. Well, never mind. I'll stop complaining.
So in a way, the beasts of the wilds, they're all survivors too.
Let's get those explosions off. Maybe that'll help. To at least slow those down while I...
It
stay
takes a
fast.
certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this.
Stubborn pride? I know plenty about stubborn pride.
As for us, we learned an awful lot from Colford Cauldron. That learning led to some interesting inventions.
One of my favorite weapons.
The raw power of the world fell right into our hands.
I think he's trying to say that Culver Cauldron is where all the shards and relics and everything else have come from. I think technically the Fire Bellows is considered a ranged weapon, but it can also very easily replace a melee.
Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here.
Come on, get into it.
It's awful hot in there.
Ugh. As you can see, though, this isn't exactly the right setup for it. I kind of forgot that this existed. Ow. Come on. Thank you. Ugh, goodness. Birds, man. The birds!
But we discovered other things we're better off not knowing.
And you might notice another flaw in my plan. I'm actually stuck.
Taste the air so hot it sticks to your lungs. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot.
Come on, give me an opening. You might notice the unique ammo system for the Fire Bellows. In that, you really can only hold it for so long. So look for those openings to use it, and then just unload everything you can in that time. I like to combine the Fire Bellows with another burst type of weapon. But also, you might notice the Fire Bellows can beat up Wallflowers really easily because it basically ignores armor.
You can cook those things, but you can't eat them.
They're very annoying too. I really think that these enemies, while interesting when placed with multiple groups, in a group situation, alone they're very annoying and boring.
Never thought we'd find so much life in all that ash.
Get the required amount of minnows strewn about the countryside. We've got the culture. and pecker nest, a memento, a patchwork of sticks with a lone egg nestled inside. Peckers were hunted aggressively before the calamity, but their numbers never did seem to dwindle. Even now, they appear to be thriving.
The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found.
You might see now why the fire bellows is one of my favorite weapons as well.
The place is inhospitable as they come.
But it's extremely useless against the peckers, so... Can't get close enough yet. There we go. Come on, birdies.
But still, we pressed on.
Gotcha. Yeah, you really have to wait for it to reload, otherwise it's useless
After
too.
all, when we look down inside Colford Cauldron, look down through all the smoke and flames.
What did we find, Rooks? What changed so much?
We saw in there the heart of the world. The heart now laid bare by the calamity. We had to have it.
Move
As
fast.
for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Jocelyn Bog. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. Pops open on him like a pimple on a school day. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. The cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell.
Yes, the fondest of farewells.
The kid don't shed any tears for him, though.
Alright, let's get away from
With a
you.
good spyglass, you could still see the cauldron from the city, but all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it.
That's the end of the cauldron.
It comes back looking like the inside of a chimney.
Alright, Zia, ask Zia about the little nest of from Colford Cauldron. Do you know if this egg's supposed to be making a muffled chirping sound?
We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight.
Yeah, having one of those on my side would be a very nice change of pace. Those birds can breed just about anywhere, can't they?
They said the wild could never be tamed. If only they could see us now.
Yeah, it only took destroying almost all of it. Alright, so, let's show you how the memorial works. I mean, we've seen it before, but now we have the culture.
The culture. A still life of old unwanted keepsakes.
The Sales were sentimental people and would pass their precious heirlooms to their friends and children.
The Triggers. My brothers. Bravest men I ever knew.
The courage and solidarity of the Sales cavalry was only surpassed by their aim. So we're going to immediately use some of those to upgrade at the forge. We also have something foul, an upgrade material for the fire bellows. A rag smothered in cauldron's ash, highly volatile. The rank-smelling fuel lasts long and burns clean. Alright, bullets cause knockback. Speed while aiming. I prefer speed while
That's
aiming.
the way to make every shot count.
Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it was on one of the loading screens that you guys might not have seen. But you can swap between upgrades after you buy them. And it's completely free. Aiming speed and damage. I like aiming speed because that is the weakness of this weapon.
Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape.
Alright, faster reload or crit chance. In this one, even though the crit chance is low, I prefer the crit chance because the reload speed I compensate with by using other weapons.
It's no longer a weapon, it's a precision instrument.
And I think I'm gonna get something pointy, hopefully from here, the Lost and Found. Oh, pike fault. A dexterous trick with which the wielder leaps into the sky and crashes down on unsuspecting foes. The brushers adapted this maneuver from great war stories passed down from older generations. I like to think of it as becoming a dragoon. So let's get something pointy. Anything we want here? That's fine for now. We need to make sure we have enough to upgrade the pike after all, and I'm not sure if we have it. Oopsies, that one. Yep, 825. My mistake. Alright, so let's go here, because I want to replace the fire bellows with the brusher's pike, scrap musket with our army carbine, and we now have Trigger Blitz, a fast, decisive shot aimed at the target's vitals. The army's triggers use this skill in desperate times to decide battles in their favor. One really powerful shot. I'll take it.
Sometimes a brusher's pike just ain't enough. That's what the carbine's for.
And so, we have to use the shard at the monument, which I completely forgot.
The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again.
Alright, let's go ahead and open up more of Lost and Found.
We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances.
We found ourselves a breaching bullet, a special bullet that lodges itself inside the target and will explode shortly after. Some frown on this device, but no one denied its effectiveness. And a burning carousel, fire bellow skill, a technique causing the user to spin while spouting flames, created by an infamous circus performer whose craft concerned him more than the safety of others. And if you go on down, you'll find some new spirits and some new equipment, including something wrong, an upgrade material for a certain weapon, a flake of unusual rock unseen prior to the calamity. It writhes at the slightest touch, yet feels like bone, only heavier. We also have Bull Brandy, 15% damage resistance, viscous beverage brewed as an offering to Pith, known for promoting longevity and resistance to pain. Then we have the Graver Gimlet. 5% chance to turn zealous after defeating a foe, while zealous gain 200% damage for 3 seconds. Photosensitive beverage with a mild chalky flavor. Brewed underground. Potent effects come and go unpredictably. There's also the Leech Aid. Gain some health by striking foes, but health tonics are at minus 66% for potency. Intense sour flavor known for its invigorating effects. Bitter taste lingers for hours. Mender Mead. Gain some health while counterblocking with the Bullhead Shield, filled with herbs and vitamins that promote wellness. Fragrant herbal bouquet. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab this, because it is useful for us to be at max health because of one of our own brews. You also have Yudrik, God of Impulse and Bravery. Foes shall cause harm on physical contact. The Morning Stallion affects the wishes of all people who break upon the break of each new day. This would be useful for our current build because we're very much a arm's length style. Then you have Lemaine, God of Hope and Despair. Foes shall induce sloth with each strike. Before each battle, soldiers prayed that the Mason King grant them high morale. So if you have something like that built in, that they have a slow effect every time they hit you, you very much either, one, want to not get hit, or two, have a means to defend yourself from a lot of enemies in case you can't run away. Let's head to the distillery real fast. Absorb stray fragments, 10% critical chance. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this to get Mender Mead.
Folks say Mender Mead's good for you. It's like an herb garden in full bloom. We spotted a pecker carrying a shard to Mount Zand,
which we will take care of next time. Mount Zand, it is held inside the remains of a holy mountain once filled with flora and fauna. So we'll go there next time. Thank you very much for watching.